Hello everyone, it's Grumpy. Welcome back to another Feed the Beast tutorial. Today I'm going to be spotlighting the Redstone energy cell. Now, what's this thing do? Well, it stores MJ. So it's like for industrial craft, you want to store EU power, you got to use an MFSU or a battery box or something. If you want to store MJ, use this Redstone energy cell. It's part of the thermal expansion mod. But it's really awesome. I highly recommend you learn how to use it. Now I'm going to be showing it to you on this rock crusher. This video is not about the rock crusher. Basically you put stuff in the left, it crushes it, and you get it out on the right. But it's a good place to show you about how this energy cell works. Now this thing has its own internal storage. Now you can see right now it has a little bit of power, but it's draining. That's just a quirk of this rock crusher. But we're going to throw this energy cell down right next to it, and I'm going to show you how it works. First of all, that's what it looks like. But it has an input and an output, and so the input and output, they can each go up to 125 MJ per tick. So in other words, if I wanted to charge this thing, it will accept up to 125 MJ per tick. Now if I wanted to make this thing put out energy, I just turn this on and I can adjust the output. And then once I turn this output on, it's instantly going to start charging that rock crusher. First of all, I want to show you how to adjust it. Obviously it's with the plus and minus signs, but if you left click, it'll turn it down by 5 units at a time. There you can see it, 5, 100, 105, 100, 95. If you want to adjust it 1 unit at a time, you just right click instead of left clicking. So there you go. Now the output, I honestly don't know how much power this thing takes. Basically you just turn it up to whatever. The machine, it'll only put out whatever the machine will take. So you can see it instantly charged it up. I got this thing set for 20 MJ per tick right now. That's enough to power 2 quarries and then some at full speed. So how does this work? Well, we put something in here, the rock crusher, and it's going to crush it, and we'll end up with gravel just like that. Now this thing actually did consume a little bit of energy just now. You can see it right here. Well, right now you can see it's still draining. That's because this thing drains by itself. But anyway, that's the gist of it. You can put it next to the machine. You can also hook a conductive pipe up to it, or this stuff right here, energy conduit. But here's one thing to note: if you want to pick this thing up, you got to hold down the shift key and right click with a Buildcraft wrench. That's the black wrench. You can bust the thing with a pick, but if you bust it with a pick, it will lose all of its energy, and that's it'll turn into an empty cell like this one, and the thing's totally worthless till you charge it. So let me show you a couple practical uses for this thing. Here's one right here. Now this is the new world. We're only playing about a week. I'm slowly automating stuff. There's always a bunch of stuff to do when you first start out the world. Dig out your house, decorate it, build storage things, ore processors, that kind of thing. But here's some of our basic machines. This is all of our forestry stuff right here, like the carpenter's bench and the centrifuge and the squeezer. Over here we got a rolling machine and a Thermionic Fabricator. It's kind of like a deal where we just build a machine, throw a hobby steam engine on top of it, and it's a lot of hassle because basically the steam engine has to, like say if I wanted to make something in this Thermionic Fabricator, here's what I have to do. I have to flip this thing on, have to make sure this thing's got fuel or water, and then I have to put fuel in here. Then the steam has to heat up, and it's going to take this thing a minute or two just to start producing a decent amount of MJ to power the machine beneath it. Well, here's a good use for this energy cell. I just hadn't used it yet, or hadn't done it. Run conductive pipe to all of them, or you can use this energy conduit and put one of these energy cells on top of it, and you can have one small engine, and the one engine powers up the energy cell while you're not using the machine. So you know, you played this for a while, you may only use these machines at first. You might use them 5 or 10 times a day for like a grand total of 5 or 10 minutes, but after a while you never hardly use them. But if you do want to use it, you got to flip the switch, wait for this to charge up, and it's all a big hassle. It's easier just to have one small engine feeding this Redstone energy cell, and then when you actually do want to run these machines, the output's adjustable. You can adjust the power to run all 5, and if you're storing 500,000 MJ inside this thing, that's its maximum power, you can actually run these machines quite a while. So you could be up here crafting for like probably 10 or 15, 20 or 30 minutes before you have to worry about recharging them. Here's another great use for it. Like, let's say you want to knock down a hill or collect a bunch of wood by using a filler. Well, that's how you do it. You'd put a filler down. Let's say this stone block, let's say that's our filler. If we want to power this thing, normally you'd have to put an engine beside it. Then you have to worry about fuel or solar panels if you use an electrical engine, and wiring and all this other stuff. Well, with this, all you got to do is plop it down, set the output to whatever the filler requires. It's honestly can't remember what a filler requires, but you set this thing up and it'll power up the filler. And then when you're done with the filler, hold down the shift key, right click that with a wrench, and this is a lot easier. All you gotta do is carry around an energy cell instead of carrying around all those engines and stuff. So let me show you how to craft it. This is not easy to craft, but once you get it set up, it's not too bad. You can make more of them. Basically what makes it so hard is you got to build 4 machines just to make one of these things. So let me show you first of all the recipe for it. Now you make it by putting an empty energy storage inside of a liquid transposer, and as you can see right here, it's going to fill this up and you'll end up with one of these redstone energy cells. So let's click backwards and see what we're going to need to make one of these. We'll need electrum ingots, lead ingots, 2 of them, a redstone conductance coil, and an energy storage frame. So let's go over the steps of what all we'll need. First of all, we'll need electrum ingots. How do we get those? We take silver dust. You can either take silver dust or pulverized silver and gold, or pulverized gold, and you'll end up with electrum dust, and you'll just cook that. Now, since you can just use dust, I'm not going to show you how to make that electrum. It's pretty basic, but you can also, like I say, you can also use the pulverized versions. Now we will have to pulverize something else to make this. Let me show you what else we'll have to pulverize. To make this energy storage frame, we will need hardened glass, and that requires pulverized obsidian and lead ingot. So this pulverized obsidian will have to be pulverized, obviously, so we'll need a machine called a pulverizer. I happen to have one of those. How lucky. Okay, let's grab a piece of obsidian. There we go. And what else did we need to make that? We need pulverized obsidian and a lead ingot. We'll have to make that downstairs, but I'm just grabbing the ingredients right now. We'll show you how to make all of it. But right now I'm going to make whatever I can. Now I just happen to have some of this electrum ingots with me, so I'm just going to use that to make this thing. And we'll go downstairs and show you how to do the rest. So we'll need one of these redstone conductance coils. You need 1 electrum ingot and 2 redstone for that. So let's put that in there. Let's put that in there, and there we go. We got a redstone conductance coil. We'll need 2 pieces of lead, 2 additional pieces of lead, another electrum ingot, and then we need this energy storage frame. That's going to take 1 diamond, 4 electrum ingots, and 4 hardened glass. And the hardened glass, you will need a pulverizer for that too. So pulverizer is required. Here's the second machine we're going to need, is Induction Smelter. And so we're going to take pulverized obsidian and lead ingot and put it in the Induction Smelter, and that'll give us hardened glass. Now I just happen to have some hardened glass, so we'll just grab 4 pieces real quick. And we'll need a diamond. There's our diamond, and there, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and make this real quick. Put our 4 electrum ingots in there, and then our gold, and next our hardened glass. There we go. We got energy storage frame, and here's the next one. We've got everything we need, so let's go ahead and make this. I'm probably making this look a little easier than it is. The first time you do it, it's kind of a pain, but the payoff's well worth it. So I have a couple of those empty energy storage frames now. Okay, and let's go downstairs and we'll make some hardened glass. I know I'm doing this a little out of order, but this thing's so complicated, there's no easy way to do it. So it's kind of one of them deals you may have to pause the video or rewind a little bit until you figure it out. But sorry, I don't know an easier way to do this video. It's very complicated. But here's the 4 machines we'll need to do all this. Now, the pulverizer, let's go ahead and stick our obsidian in there. And it automatically got consumed. It's making it. And we're going to get pulverized obsidian in a second. And remember, this is to make that hardened glass we had to have for the recipe. So there's that. The next step we had to do is we had to go to Induction Smelter, put the pulverized obsidian there and the lead ingot. Alright, I'm sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulty. I remember when I first built this thing, they had a recipe in there where you could use a lead ingot. Let me show it to you. That recipe does not work, but the other recipe does. But let me show you so you don't run into the same problem I did. When you're making the hardened glass, it says you can use a lead ingot. That is not the case. You saw me, I put both of them in there, nothing happened. You have to pulverize the lead ingot. So let's go ahead and do that. I actually paused the video to figure out what the deal was, and I finally just remembered. But anyway, this right here actually cooks pretty fast. So there's our pulverized lead. Now let's put this inside here, the induction smelter. And that recipe does work. It's been so long since I made one of these I forgot. So basically what I do is when I make stuff, if I got a lot of resources, I'll make stuff a stack at a time so I don't have to make it for a long time. That's why I got all this electrum. But anyway, there's the hardened glass, and so as you recall, that was one of the ingredients to make this energy storage frame. So basically I showed you how to make all that. And so at this point we're at the very last stage where you put the energy storage inside the liquid transposer. But first of all, we got to get molten redstone, and we do that with a third machine. It's called a Magma Crucible. Now this Magma Crucible, I have it tied to the liquid transposer. So basically whenever this thing melts redstone, let me turn these back on. Whenever this thing melts redstone, it goes into here. But as you see, it's not filling up because it's automatically outputting out its right side. We have this configuration tab, and I have this right side set as an output. So anything this thing makes automatically goes over to this machine, and you can see right here I'm storing it, and you can see it charging up. Over here, the blue side of the machine is set for an input. And by the way, I explained this in another video, but just in case you haven't seen the other videos, the middle represents the machine on the configuration tab. There's the top, the left, the bottom, and the right. So the left side I have it set for an input, so that's why this is filling up. And if I want to make this energy cell, all I have to do now is drop one of those in there, and it's automatically going to fill it up. You can see it filling up, and there we have an empty energy storage cell. Let me go over a little bit about this room again. First of all, up here as you see this red wool, this is where I put energy cells to charge them. So now we're charging those. Let's turn off all the machines because we're not making anything, but they may or may not be consuming electricity. Basically everything in this room, there's high voltage coming down this wire, and it feeds all of these electrical engines. By the way, electrical engines, they can run off of any voltage. So I run all my machinery in the house off high voltage, and I put transformer upgrades in them. But anyway, here's the electrical engines. Each one of these is putting out 8 MJ per tick. I can actually change these circuit boards in them, get a little more electricity. I need to do that. But anyway, this is a conductive pipe right here, and it feeds all the machines. All these machines run off MJ, but it's also acting as a charging station for these cells right here. So I highly recommend using these cells. I'm going to start using them in my house, and I'll use them when I'm out in the wild and just want to like clear an area, something with a filler. Come in real handy. But anyway, I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you'd like to see me do any, or if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you enjoyed this video or you found it informative, please give the video a like or leave a comment, or it really helps my channel. And if the video gets a lot of likes, it just lets me know to make more videos over this top. But also too, if you're enjoying these tutorials, please remember to subscribe, because I make a lot of tutorial videos and I really enjoy making them. So anyway, it's Grumpy. We will see you next time. Don't forget to check out my Let's Play if you like Let's Play videos.